Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. And today we're diving into the world of a company you might not have heard of, Affle India Limited.
Yeah, Affy, they're a really interesting company.
Yeah,
Kind of under the radar for a lot of folks, but
they are.
they're doing some pretty incredible things in the mobile advertising world.
So for folks who haven't heard of Affle, maybe just give us a quick overview.
Yeah, absolutely. So think of them as this global company, and they're all about driving those consumer actions that brands really want.
Oh,
So, those clicks, those app installs, the actual purchases, that's their bread and butter.
that's where they live?
That's where they live.
Or
And we're going to be diving into their Q3 and 9-month
yes, we are.
FY 2025 earnings presentation.
We are.
And it's packed full of insights, and I think it'll paint a really interesting picture of how they make this all happen.
Let's jump right in.
All right, so right off the bat, their year-over-year growth is eye-catching, to say the least.
It is.
Revenue's up a solid 24.5% for those first 9 months.
Uh-huh.
EBITDA, even more impressive, up a whopping 33.3%.
Wow.
And to top it off, profit after tax, also seeing a healthy bump of 32.9%.
Those are some serious numbers. I'm curious, like, what's fueling this kind of growth? Is it just that, everyone and their grandmother is on their phone these days?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no denying the massive shift we're seeing towards digital, especially in those high-growth markets.
Right.
But Affle's not just riding that wave, they're shaping it.
Uh-huh.
And their secret sauce, well, is something they call CPCU,
CPCU.
cost per converted user.
Okay, I gotta admit, I haven't heard that one before. Break it down for me.
Basically, it means Affle only gets paid when they deliver.
Okay.
We're not talking about just someone seeing an ad
Right.
or even clicking on it.
Mm-hmm.
They have to take a specific action, the action that brand wants.
Okay.
Could be buying something, downloading an app, even walking into a store, whatever the goal is.
So it's about results, not just eyeballs. That's a pretty big departure from, like, old school advertising.
Huge difference, and it demands a whole different level of understanding about consumer behavior and targeting.
Right.
This is where their AI and machine learning expertise comes into play.
All right, so they're using AI to make sure those conversions actually happen.
Absolutely. But it's not just about having some fancy AI, it's about using it strategically.
Yeah.
Their platform analyzes tons of data to figure out who's most likely to convert.
Uh-huh.
Then they tailor the ads to hit those people at just the right moment.
So it's like having a team of super smart marketers working around the clock.
Exactly. They're constantly optimizing and refining those campaigns in real time.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk numbers.
Okay.
How effective is this CPCU model in practice?
Well, the numbers speak for themselves.
Okay.
Over those first 9 months, they drove a mind-boggling 194.4 million conversions.
194.4 million.
Million. And the average revenue per conversion sits at about 51.3 rupees.
Wow.
So crunch those numbers, and that translates to 16,641 million in revenue.
So it's working, to say the least.
It's definitely working.
But I'm guessing there's a lot more going on behind the scenes
Oh, absolutely.
than just some AI magic.
There's a whole platform they've built called, cleverly enough, the Affle Consumer Platform.
The Affle consumer platform.
And
Okay.
it utilizes these things called demand-side platforms, DSPs for short.
Okay.
Essentially, these DSPs act as marketplaces where advertisers can bid on ad space across different websites and apps.
So it's like a one-stop shop for reaching potential customers.
Exactly. It simplifies the whole advertising ecosystem.
Okay, but why use multiple DSPs?
Think of it like diversifying your investments.
Oh, okay.
By tapping into multiple DSPs, Affle gets access to a way wider range of ad inventory,
Mm-hmm.
and that lets them target consumers across various platforms and channels.
More flexibility, more reach. Okay, I get it.
Precisely, it's about maximizing those opportunities.
So how do they weave AI and machine learning into all of this?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
This platform doesn't rely on just basic demographics like age or location.
Right.
It digs deep into user behavior, preferences, even past interactions with ads.
So it's learning and adapting as it goes.
Exactly. It's like having a marketing guru constantly analyzing and optimizing.
Huh. Pretty impressive stuff.
And it gets even better. They've developed their own algorithms, even filed multiple patents.
Wow.
That's how advanced this technology is.
So it's not just about delivering ads, it's about understanding, what makes people tick online.
Absolutely. And the results speak for themselves.
They do.
But Affle's not just about tech. They also understand the importance of showing their success stories.
Oh, everyone loves a good case study.
Right.
Tell me more about that.
Well, one that really stands out is their work with Wallapop,
Wallapop, yeah, I've used them before.
a global online marketplace for buying and selling used stuff.
Yeah.
So Affle helped them achieve over 90% annual growth in new sellers, or listers as they called them.
90%. That's incredible.
In Spain alone, they saw more than 56% growth in just 1 quarter. And Wallapop was so impressed, they even gave a glowing testimony.
So it's not just hype. They're actually delivering for their clients.
They're delivering big time.
That's a
It
win.
really shows their strategy's working.
It does, but I'm guessing it's not all about big numbers and flashy clients either.
You're right, they're also deeply invested in innovation, always pushing the envelope.
Like their patents.
Exactly. They've got an impressive portfolio, 36 in total.
36.
12 already granted, 24 pending.
Wow, and what areas are these patents covering?
All sorts of cutting-edge stuff like ad fraud detection and those predictive algorithms we talked about.
So they're not just following the trends, they're shaping the future of the industry.
They're definitely leading the charge.
But with all this talk about technology and data, I'm curious about their approach to data privacy and security.
Absolutely. It's a crucial aspect, and they get that.
Okay.
They've obtained a number of global accreditations demonstrating their commitment to data security and responsible data handling.
Okay, that's good to hear.
They understand that trust is paramount.
Yeah, especially in today's world.
Exactly, and they're doing everything they can to build and maintain that trust.
That's really encouraging to hear.
It is. It's a sign of a company that's thinking long-term.
Absolutely, but I'm curious to learn more about those accreditations and how they actually impact their operations.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Maybe we can dig into that a bit later.
Definitely, we'll dive deeper into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Before we move on, though, there's one more thing that really caught my eye in their earnings presentation.
Oh, what's that?
Well, they break down their revenue by category.
Right.
And it's fascinating to see where their focus lies.
I agree. It gives you a clear picture of their strategic priorities.
So they've divided their business into 4 main categories.
Yep, E, F, G, and H.
E, F, G, and H, and these cover...
They represent different sectors of the market, and those 4 categories, they generate 100% of their revenue.
100%. Okay, so what exactly are these categories, and why do you think they've chosen to focus on them specifically?
Well, let's start with category E.
Okay.
That's all about e-commerce.
E-commerce.
Where they're online marketplaces, shopping, retail, all that good stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's a massive market, and it's growing rapidly.
Especially in emerging economies.
You got it. Places where mobile penetration is just exploding.
Okay, so e-commerce is a natural fit. What about the others?
All right, so category F, that covers fintech, FMCG, and food tech.
Oh, fintech. Okay.
Yep, think of all those apps for online payments, financial products, all those services.
Right. Everyone's managing their money on their phones these days.
Absolutely. Then there's FMCG, which stands for fast-moving consumer goods.
FMCG, that's a mouthful.
It is, but basically it's everyday stuff we all use. Food, drinks, toiletries, household items, you name it.
Okay, essentials, things people always need.
Exactly. No matter what's happening in the economy, people are always buying these things.
Right, it makes sense. And food tech, I'm assuming that's about all those online ordering and delivering apps.
You nailed it. Food tech is booming right now with all the convenience it offers.
Yeah, I definitely use those apps more than I care to admit.
I think we all do. It's just so easy and convenient.
It is, so they've really tapped into some key consumer trends with these categories.
They have. They're strategically positioning themselves in those high-growth areas.
Smart move. What about categories G and H?
Right. Category G includes gaming and government services.
Gaming. That's an interesting one.
It is, but think about it. Online gaming, especially those with real money wagering, is huge these days.
Yeah, it's become a massive industry.
And then you have government services, which are also increasingly going digital.
Right, governments are finally catching up.
They are. They're using mobile apps and platforms to reach citizens and deliver services more efficiently.
So it's not just games and groceries. They're covering a pretty broad spectrum here.
They are. They're thinking big.
Okay, last but not least, what about category H?
So category H, it rounds things out with health tech, hospitality and travel, and home and other utilities.
Okay, so everything from booking a flight to finding a doctor to managing your smart home.
You got it. It's a diverse mix, but it reflects how much we rely on our phones for pretty much every aspect of our lives.
It's mind-boggling when you really think about it. They're not just serving ads. They're shaping how we interact with the world around us.
They are, and they're doing it in a way that benefits both the companies they work with and the consumers who use their services.
It's a win-win situation.
Absolutely, and it's a testament to their vision and their execution.
Well, it sounds like Affle has found a winning formula.
They really have, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they continue to grow and evolve.
Absolutely. I'm definitely eager to learn more about their quarterly performance and how these different categories are contributing to their overall success.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Maybe we can dive into that a bit deeper in the next part of our deep dive.
Definitely. We'll unpack all those details in the next segment.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so let's dig a bit deeper into Affle's quarterly performance.
Yeah, let's crack open those numbers.
And see how these different categories are actually contributing to their success.
All right, so starting with their overall revenue from operations, we see some really solid growth quarter over quarter. It's that consistent upward trajectory that gets investors excited.
Yeah, definitely a sign of a healthy business.
Absolutely. And if we look at their EBITDA and profit after tax, We see the same positive trend.
Okay.
They're consistently improving their profitability, which means they're becoming more efficient as they scale.
That's always a good sign, but I'm curious about those four categories, E, F, G, and H.
Right.
How are they each playing into this financial success? Are there any standouts?
They're all performing well, but Category E, the e-commerce segment, is definitely a major contributor.
Yeah, e-commerce is booming, so that makes sense.
It's a massive market, especially in those emerging economies where mobile is king.
Right, right. So what about the other categories? How are these stacking up?
Category F, which covers fintech, FMCG, and food tech,
Mm-hmm.
is another strong performer.
Okay.
The rise of digital payments, online grocery shopping, all those food delivery apps, it's created a huge opportunity for them in this space.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, I use my phone for everything these days, banking, ordering groceries, booking
It's
restaurants.
the way of the world now. Everything's at our fingertips.
It really is. So what about gaming and government services? Those fall under category G, right?
Exactly. And gaming, especially those online games where you can wager real money, is a massive industry.
It is. It's kind of mind-blowing how big it's gotten.
And governments are also jumping on the digital bandwagon.
Okay.
They're using mobile platforms to deliver services, communicate with citizens. It's a growing trend.
So they're strategically positioned to capitalize on some major shifts in the digital landscape.
They're playing their cards right, that's for sure.
And finally, we have category H, health tech, travel, utilities, all that good stuff.
Exactly. And this category is also seeing significant growth, fueled by all those apps we use to book travel, manage healthcare, control our smart homes.
It's amazing how much our lives revolve around these apps these days.
It really is. They've become indispensable.
So it sounds like Affle has done their homework,
Oh, absolutely.
and they're really dialed into these high-growth markets.
They're not just chasing trends, they're anticipating them.
But I'm curious, with all this talk about categories and growth, how much of their revenue is actually driven by that CPCU model we talked about earlier?
It's not just a small piece of the pie, it's the whole darn thing.
Really?
Yeah, in Q3 of SY 2025, a staggering 99.2% of their revenue from contracts with customers came directly from their CPCU model.
99.2%? Wow, that's incredible.
It's a testament to how effective and scalable their approach is.
It really is, but I gotta ask, how do they manage to maintain those high conversion rates?
Well, it all comes down to their mastery of AI and machine learning.
Okay.
They've built a sophisticated system that analyzes massive amounts of data, looking for those hidden patterns
Mm-hmm.
that can predict which users are most likely to convert.
So it's not just about showing ads to as many people as possible?
No, it's about finding the right people, the ones who are actually going to take action.
That's smart.
They take into account all sorts of factors, demographics, browsing history, even things like location data.
So it's highly personalized advertising.
Precisely. But they do it in a way that respects user privacy.
Okay, good to know.
They're very transparent about the data they collect and how they use it.
Right.
And they give users control over their privacy settings.
That's reassuring, especially in today's world where data privacy is such a big concern.
It is, and FO gets it. They understand that trust is crucial.
They do, but even with all the technology and data analysis, I imagine there's still a human element involved.
Absolutely. You can't just rely on algorithms alone.
Right.
They have a talented team of marketers who are constantly testing, iterating, and refining their approach.
So it's a combination of human ingenuity and cutting-edge technology.
It's the perfect blend, and it's clearly working for them.
It is. So we've talked about their financials, their focus on high-growth markets, and their amazing CPCU model.
We've covered a lot of ground.
But I'm still really intrigued by their technology platform, the Affle consumer platform.
Yeah, it's the backbone of their operation.
I'd love to delve deeper into how it all works.
We can definitely do that. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll unpack the intricacies of their platform and explore how they leverage those demand-side platforms and AI algorithms to drive those impressive results.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so we've talked about the numbers, those incredible conversion rates, and all those different categories they're targeting.
Right, from e-commerce to health tech, they've got a lot going on.
They do, but I keep coming back to this Affle consumer platform. It sounds like the brains behind the whole operation.
It really is. It's the engine that drives their success.
So break it down for me. What exactly is it? How does it all work?
All right, so imagine this central hub, this platform that brings together all this data and AI-powered tools.
Okay.
It's constantly analyzing, optimizing, orchestrating these highly targeted mobile ad campaigns.
So it's not just one piece of software, it's a whole ecosystem.
Exactly. Think of it like an orchestra, with all these different instruments working together to create a symphony of conversions.
That's a great analogy. So what are some of the key instruments in this orchestra?
Well, a big one is their use of multiple demand-side platforms.
DSPs, right?
Yep, those are essentially marketplaces where advertisers can bid on ad space across a ton of different websites and apps.
So it's like a giant pool of potential ad placements.
Exactly, but how do you choose the right ones?
Right, that's got to be overwhelming.
That's where their AI-powered algorithms come into play.
Okay, so the AI is conducting the orchestra.
You got it. It analyzes massive amounts of data, looking for patterns, insights, anything that can help predict which users are most likely to convert for a specific brand or campaign.
So it's all about finding those high potential customers.
Precisely, they factor in everything from demographics to browsing history to app usage, even location data.
So they can create these hyper-personalized profiles.
Exactly, and target ads with pinpoint accuracy.
That's pretty amazing, but what about privacy? I mean, all this data collection can feel kind of creepy sometimes.
I hear you, but Affle takes privacy very seriously.
Okay, good.
They're all about transparency and control. They're clear about what data they collect, how they use it, and users have the power to adjust their privacy settings.
So they're not just throwing data around willy-nilly.
No, they understand that trust is paramount, especially in today's world.
It is, but even with all this advanced technology, I gotta believe there's still a human touch involved.
Oh, absolutely. It's not all just ones and zeros. Behind the scenes, you have these brilliant marketers, the creative minds, who are constantly testing and tweaking and making sure those ads resonate with real people.
So it's a balance of art and science.
It is, and that's what makes Affle so successful.
Well, I gotta say, I'm impressed. They're clearly a company that's pushing the boundaries in mobile advertising.
They're definitely one to watch.
And it's not just about the technology, it's about their commitment to ethics and innovation.
Absolutely. They're not just chasing profits. They're building a sustainable business that's focused on delivering real value.
Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the world of Affle India Limited.
It's been a fascinating journey.
We've uncovered some pretty amazing insights to their business model, their technology, their commitment to data privacy, and the impact they're having on the mobile advertising landscape.
They're truly a company that's shaping the future.
And as always, we encourage you to do your own research, dive deeper into their earnings presentations, and see what other gems you can uncover.
There's always more to learn.
Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the fascinating world of business and technology.